Wealthy individuals push forward despite the shadows of uncertainty. Those less fortunate let those same shadows hold them back. The concept of sculpting reality was introduced, a process where ideas spark emotions, emotions fuel movement, and movement carves out tangible outcomes. Consider this sequence. A thought ignites a feeling. That feeling drives a step, and that step shapes a result. Countless people dream of abundance. Many dedicate time to rituals, chanting hopeful words, picturing overflowing bank accounts, or sitting in quiet reflection. Yet, no one has ever reported a treasure chest landing in their lap mid-thought. Success doesn't arrive by magic. It demands effort, a leap from stillness into motion. Tools like affirmations or visualizations can sharpen the mind's focus, but alone, they don't summon prosperity into existence. The real world rewards those who act, those who bridge the invisible with the visible. Action transforms what's imagined into what's achieved. Why does this matter so much? Look again at the sculpting process. Ideas and emotions belong to the inner realm, while results belong to the outer. Action is the thread stitching these worlds together. Principle of prosperity. Action weaves the thread between the inner realm and the outer world. So, what keeps people from crossing this bridge? Hesitation, doubt, the gnawing whisper of, what if? These are the great barricades, not just to wealth, but to joy itself. The divide between the prosperous and the struggling often lies here. The prosperous stride forward despite the whispers. The struggling freeze in their echo. A renowned thinker once penned a guide called Face the Storm and Sail On, a nod to this very truth. Too many wait for the storm of unease to pass before setting sail. They'll wait forever. In a celebrated retreat known as the Trailblazer's Journey, participants learn to harness the wind of doubt rather than banish it. The lesson isn't to silence the gusts, but to steer through them. Principle of prosperity. A true trailblazer can harness the wind of doubt. Here's the key. Erasing hesitation isn't required for triumph. The wealthy and accomplished feel the same gusts of worry and uncertainty. They simply don't let them anchor their ship. Meanwhile, those who falter let these breezes dictate their course. Principle of prosperity. Erasing hesitation isn't necessary to thrive. As creatures of routine, people must practice stepping into the wind, past doubt, past reluctance, past the lure of ease or the weight of discomfort. Take a moment from a workshop in Portland. As the session wound down, the upcoming 3-day Prosperity Pathfinder event in Denver was announced. One attendee stood and shared, "I know dozens who've attended, friends, colleagues, and they've all come back transformed, happier, and chasing bigger dreams. They called it a turning point. If it were here in Portland, I'd be there." After thanking them for the praise, a question was posed. "Are you open to a nudge?" They nodded. 3 words, came the reply. "You're still grounded." When asked about their finances, they admitted, "Not great." The response was sharp. No surprise there. If a short flight or a day's drive halts your pursuit of what matters, what else will block you? Everything. Not because the obstacle's steep, but because your resolve is shallow. Are you someone who stalls or someone who soars? That's the choice. To build wealth or any victory, you must train yourself to rise above roadblocks. Prosperity isn't a gentle breeze. It's a climb, and climbing's rarely cozy. Principle of prosperity. Chase only what's simple, and life grows steep. Tackle the steep, and life smooths out. The room hushed. Later, that same attendee approached, eyes alight, grateful for the jolt. They signed up for Denver, and soon rallied others to join, even from far-flung corners of the map. Now, consider ease versus effort. Why does forging ahead despite discomfort matter? Because comfort is the shore you're docked at now. To sail to new horizons, you must shove off into choppy waters, places beyond the familiar harbor. Imagine life as a ladder. You're perched on rung 5, aiming for 10. Rungs 1 through 5 feel steady, but 6 and up? Uncharted. To climb, you'll pass through the wobbly stretch. Too many cling to the lower rungs, prizing calm over growth. Here's a secret the prosperous grasp. Comfort is a false idol. It's pleasant but stagnant. Growth happens only when the ladder shakes, when you reach past what's steady. Principle of prosperity. Growth blooms only beyond the steady rungs. Picture the first time you tried something bold, say, riding a bike or speaking to a crowd. Was it smooth? Hardly. But with each wobble, it steadied. That's the pattern. New terrain feels shaky until it doesn't. Push through, and your footing expands. You become more. Next time unease creeps in, don't retreat. Nod to it and say, "This is me stretching," then keep climbing. To thrive, get cozy with the unsteady. Here's a lifelong equation. Steady. Stagnant. The broader your steady ground, the more risks you'll take, the more doors you'll knock on, the more paths you'll explore. Cling to calm, and hesitation shrinks your world. Stretch into the unknown, and possibility swells. Room for wealth and fulfillment to flood in. The universe loves a wide-open canvas. Comfort's a silent thief, robbing dreams, chances, and growth more than any storm ever could. Seek only ease, and two truths lock in. Wealth stays distant, and contentment fades. True joy isn't found in idling, it's forged in stretching toward what's possible. When unease hits, lean in. Feel the wobble, know it's just a signal, not a wall. Keep moving and the goal nears. If the wobble fades, raise the bar. Comfort means the climb's paused. To reach the top, live at the edge of the ladder. Practice is the key. Train yourself to act despite the wind, the weight, the not now whispers. Each step lifts you higher, and the view, bank balance included, grows breathtaking. In some gatherings, a challenge is posed. Who's ready to act despite the storm? Hands rise, perhaps nervously. Words alone prove little, so a test follows. A sharp-tipped spear is revealed, and the task? Snap it with your neck. One end presses into your throat, the other braced against a partner's hand. The goal? Stride forward, break it, and prove nothing pierces your resolve. Shock ripples through. Some step up, some get spears to try. Can it be done? Yes. Is it daunting? Undeniably. Unsteady? You bet. But that's the point. Neither storm nor wobble halts you. With full commitment, the spear snaps. Hesitate, and it holds. Afterward, most admit, the mind built it into a monster, but the act was simpler. Why? The mind loves to spin tales, wild sagas of peril that rarely unfold. A wise voice once quipped, "I've faced countless tempests, in my head, few in reality." You're not your thoughts. They're just one thread in your tapestry. Imagine them as a restless bird, flapping wildly. You wouldn't clip its wings. You'd teach it to soar for you. Principle of prosperity. Mastering. Your mind is the greatest craft for joy and triumph. How? Watch the bird. Notice when it squawks against your aims. Swap its cries for calls that lift you. Ideas like those here. Claim them now. Decide the old chatter no longer steers the ship. You do. You're the captain. The bird's the crew. You can redirect any thought. Swap out the squawks for songs that propel you, moment by moment. A sage once mused, "Every thought pays rent. Make sure it's worth the space." Negative ones cost dearly, in energy, time, wealth, peace. Sort your thoughts. Fuel or drag. Amplify the fuel, mute the drag. Say next to the noise and tune into power. This shift, call it thrust thinking, rewires everything. Unlike rosy optimism, which paints over cracks, thrust thinking sees the cracks as neutral, ours to frame. Why not frame them as springboards? Not because they're true, but because they work better. A caution: don't try the spear stunt solo. Guided setups ensure safety. Curious? Check the Trailblazer's journey online. Declarations. Place a hand on your chest and say, I stride through the storm. I rise above doubt. I move past worry. I push beyond ease. I climb through the wobble. I act when the wind blows. Tap your head and say, I wield a wealth-forging mind. Prosperity practices. Name 3 fears. Clouding your wealth path. Test them. If they struck, could you endure? Rebuild? Likely, yes. Drop the anchors and climb. Step off the steady rung. Pick uneasy moves, chat with strangers, demand more pay, hike at dusk, rise at dawn. Join the trailblazer's journey to forge iron resolve. Harness thrust thinking. Watch your mind's chatter. Feed only thoughts that lift. When the bird squawks, can't, prove it wrong, act anyway. Show it who's captain. Confidence swells, the noise fades.